The question, are we healing or are we chasing healing? Welcome back, everyone, to the No One is Perfect podcast here with my friend Marty Murphy. Hello, Marty.
Hello, Christy.
Oh, we've been talking about there's hundreds of modalities, hundreds, with sometimes I would call it a magic wand. That if you do this modality or you follow these steps, it's going to heal you. And I know for me at 55, when I hear it's going to heal me, I usually turn away and walk the other way because I don't believe, and this is truly from my own experience, I don't believe there is a way. We are the way. And however that fits for my system, for my nervous system, will work for me. And then sometimes we do a modality for healing, and then it's over and we're done and we move on to a new one. But like we have inner child work and breath work and meditation, and now a lot of plant medicine work and books and goddess retreats and other retreats, and which are all really fabulous. And I also think, and this is what I want to talk about today, Marty, is are we chasing our tail? Are we continually thinking that something's broken? Because the trauma industry is $1 billion industry online.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't see that as negative. I think the exposure is good. However, what's happening is I think it's creating a different kind of wave that we're broken and I have this modality to fix you. We all have stuff and we'll have stuff till we're dead. And so what I'd like to talk about is okay, let's place those pieces and talk about okay, why did we start our own healing journey, Marty, which I'd love to hear yours, and then I'll share mine to where it brought you today to even be having this conversation.
Oh, yeah. Christy, to me, it's just such a great topic. I mean, like you, I've like done it all, tried it all to a degree. But it's funny, I think my healing journey, I would say it started when I was 16 and I bought my first personal development book. And I mean, beanie with the propeller on, had no idea, like, what am I doing here? What's going on? But I remember just feeling like there was something really wrong with me. And given my upbringing in Catholicism and just in my family of origin, it makes sense. But I always was on the search spiritually and all that once I kind of unhooked from I would call it the tyrannical Catholicism that I grew up in. But really, the bigger piece was right before I found tapping, when I was finally like, my life's a mess.
Mm.
And I just know it needs to change. I've had this thought various times in my life. It's like, I need help. This is a mess. And the same mess that's created can't get out of it. And then for me at the time, I set an intention, if there's something that can truly finally help me change my life, then send it my way. If not, I just want peace. I just want to feel peace. I'm tired of wanting things that I feel like I can't have. And that's when like 2 weeks later, I found tapping and, miracle way I found it, watched a Facebook. This was before, I mean, summits were just starting. I had no idea what a summit was, but I signed up for an online summit, heard a woman that was doing tapping and then the rest, started doing it. And I'm like, whoa, something's changing for me. And then had no intention of doing it to help people. But then one day was like, if people have ever felt as stuck as I am and I could help them, I'd like to help them. And that's really like where the journey began. And I think most of us that come into this work, it starts with ourself and our own journey with healing and getting sidetracked by I got a PhD in healing myself, or I'm an honorary PhD and I'm wounded and I'm broken and I got to
Mm.
keep fixing it. And at 64 years of age now, I see it all so differently and I continue to find new ways to see it. And I've totally been in that place myself where I'm addicted to healing.
Mhm.
And then it's like now I have pieces where it's like, whoa, this is an intense period of time. Something big's coming up for me. And I do trust, even though it's uncomfortable, it sucks, it's all that, I trust it'll pass, and it does.
Well, and that's been your experience
Yeah.
that it does pass. And I think bringing the awareness to that, Marty, is a big deal.
Yes.
Um,
How'd your journey start?
well, I rem a couple different things I remember as a teenager because I was extremely an unhappy teenager, and I was in complete survival mode, which is good. That served me really, really well.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at this guy when I was walking one night after work. It was probably 1 in the morning. I'm like, there has to be more to this world than this because this doesn't work for me. And I remember putting that intention like into the sky to God. And I don't even know. I don't even remember if I even believed that there was something more. I just thought there has to be something more than this world I'm living in because
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Hmm.
And then I moved and my body, this is really why I got into somatics. I started getting a lot of migraines and headaches, and someone said, Christy, you need to go see this guy. He can help you because I had no money and no insurance. And so I'm like, okay. And so I went to, his name was Jim Foster. Long story. We're somewhat related, which is weird.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
but I think I was 19. He put his hands on my belly and he started asking me questions. And I started crying. I had
Mhm.
no idea what was happening. He did. I didn't. And the emotional release that happened in me because my brain kept saying, I don't understand. He didn't do anything. Why did I fall apart? And that propelled me into somatic work because my curiosity was over the top. And what it also did, though, is it put me down a lot of different paths and modalities to fix that broken part in me that because I couldn't contain the emotions, so my brain thought, and it wasn't explained to me. I think understanding it from a practitioner does matter.
Oh, yeah.
And I I didn't know what was wrong, and so I was like that's the beginning of the endless search of what's wrong with me. And today I have such genuine compassion for that part of me. I'm like, and nothing was wrong with you. I had no skill set for boundaries. I had no skill set for communication and expression in any way, shape, or form. And it built up. And he just knew how to screw off the lid and then and what I tend to learn the hard way.
Oh,
What I
yeah.
learned from that and a few other teachers that I've had is we don't have to blow up the building to let air in. We can take one drop at a time or unscrew it lightly and that's let some air out.
Right.
So it really has been a gift to me to have that experience, especially because I didn't understand I wasn't broken,
Right.
but I thought I was, and I didn't understand what was happening. And so as I live my life today and the work that I do, there's such a respectful place for that tenderness of not knowing and the endless search too of trying to find out and searching um and people doing, and I've done it, modality after modality, and sometimes a psychic or an astrologer. What's wrong with me? And I've really come to a place that I'm much more mindful and slow in trusting my intuition of, is that really what I need today?
Yeah.
Is that
It's
really what I
so
need to
important.
move into?
Yeah.
And a lot of that work came through other modalities of healing to trust myself. And I think that is earned. I don't think that's given.
Yeah.
I think you have to walk through the doors sometimes of big emotions and trauma experiences to recognize, especially with modalities, which ones work for you and which ones don't.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. And I like your point too, that kind of blew the lid off.
Well,
And,
yeah.
and it does. I mean, tapping can be a variation, which I always tell people big, huge emotions can come up.
Hmm.
But the key is if you know what you're doing as a practitioner, you can help them get more regulated. I mean, we welcome that because that means you're processing. And I'm personally a firm believer in the tapping world that the brain protects us,
Hmm.
you know, and it's going to show us what we're ready to see. But does that mean that that can't be bypassed? And like you said, all of a sudden somebody's like, um, I've felt very blessed that I've never really had like anything super severe, you know, happen that wasn't rectifiable. But you know, it's now like having done it so long, I just totally believe that person can get to a better place. And I'm also very conscientious of we only have to go here if you want to, you know,
Choice.
given choice. And
Hmm.
you are master and commander. I mean, I run the tapping part of this, but you have total autonomy here to be like, not interested.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. And it's also what I find what's happening is big emotions can surface, but that's a really good thing because it means we've targeted something and it's releasing. And I find when people know that ahead of time, then they're like, oh, big emotions are coming up. I'm releasing something rather than being terrified of it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think the choice piece, Marty, with that is so big because there's parts of ourselves that when we're little, like I I believe there's many parts of who we are and it's very complex and the simplicity of the child part of us not having a choice.
Yeah.
And then we go see someone like you or someone like me, and the practitioner says, okay, you have a choice. I'm not going to force anything. You get to choose the cadence for the most part and allow for some of these big emotions to move so you can take a breath so your body can let go of that, which creates less pain oftentimes. Because I find that people in general aren't aware that that's what's being held that's creating pain.
Hmm.
And if they're aware through education, which is why we're doing this podcast,
Right. Right.
if they're aware, it takes out the fear that there's not like this big boogie monster in the closet that you're going to go, okay, what do I do now?
Yeah.
And it can move at a pace that works for your nervous system and not blow it apart because I don't think that's helpful.
I don't either. And I mean, and I, you know, Chrissy, we in part of why we started this too is because we've both been in the healing profession a long time. And I think it's important for everybody to remember there's all kinds of people in this field,
Yeah.
all kinds of people, like any field. And if you get a bad feeling about some practitioner, I would tell someone to trust that.
Hmm.
Because there's all kinds of different people with all kinds of different motivations and, you know, I mean, I've heard so many stories. I've experienced stuff myself, as I know you have too, Christy. And it's like to start, I also believe it's there to help us learn to trust ourselves, to be like, you know what? This isn't working for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And trust it when it comes in.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Those intuitive hits are very real.
So real. And I think maybe I said this on another podcast. At one point, I had 5 different women come in to me for tapping, and all had been with a extremely high-powered coach that was, you know, quite famous in her particular field. And every one of them was dealing with being bullied.
Mm.
And it's there, you know, and it's like that's why, but and I remember myself in my own ignorance being like, wait, what? Like this is the healing profession. Everybody in here is supposed to like have their stuff together and like, and it's like, no, Marty, that's not how it works.
No. And the reality that that is a thing because everyone's human. There's not anyone that has
Absolutely.
everything together.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. And I would say, as a practitioner myself, is to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask where someone's
Oh
had
yeah.
they're training from? How long have you been doing it? Have you done it yourself? And how
Yes.
was that for you? Could be just because it's on their website or their card doesn't mean they know the work.
Yeah, Christy, you remember that story I told you? Like I was in this, I bought a coach. Let's maybe that was a Freudian slip. A coaching, just a very small coaching program, and I always like to buy something at the beginning of the year just to kind of help set the tone. And it was not doing it for me. And they had, a money back guarantee if you did it within a certain period of time. And I'm like, this is nothing like I thought this was going to be, nothing like was advertised. And it was an amazing person that I had contact with. She was great. And she suggested, hey, you get a free session, with a coach anyway. So just do it if you want. And I did. And I ended up on that call, which you and I talked about being double teamed. But here's the beauty of it. I'm like, I've
Yeah.
been there. And I told the people that were talking to me, I said, I know exactly what you're doing. And you're not going to get this fast start answer today. It's not happening. I
Mhm.
know how this works. So can we cut to the chase and just tell me blah, blah, blah? And it just took forever to get the information out. But what's great about it is how much I have learned over the years and been like, I know this. It's not going to
Yeah.
work on me. The intimidation is not going to work on me. And it was such a great realization, and it's like, check, not working that program with that that, and it's somebody I've always respected, but it's it's just to pay attention to that stuff because it's out there, and then that's where they can get you hooked down the rabbit hole of the healing. Like I'll have
Mhm.
people come to me and go, how many sessions do I need? I literally tell them, I don't know. I don't know what we're dealing with. I don't know. I'm not here to rope you into more sessions, but I don't know what it's going to take. We've just got to let it unfold. You got to tell me what resources do you have available, what's
Yeah.
comfortable for you, give them options and be like, let's find a win-win here, not try to sell them down the rabbit hole of you're going to be working with me for the next 6 years and it's those of us that genuinely care want someone to find a good fit. And I have no problem referring people out.
Yeah. I don't either. I love referring
Yeah, you're
because
great at that too.
there's no
Right.
way we could do it all.
No, no. And I think that's abundance.
Yeah. It is abundance.
That's abundance to be like, fine, they work for you. God bless you. Go get the healing from them.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be everybody, and I'm not anybody's guru, but I'm like, I mean, I'll save dogs all day long and twice on Sunday, but I'm like, no, I want to help you as a human. Let's find what's best for you. And if you don't have that, then like in a practitioner, that's where to me you can start thinking I'm broken, I'm wrong, I got to fix this, I got to spend all this time doing this. And it's just to me, it's a cautionary tale.
Yeah. It most definitely is, Marty. And it's one that I think most people in this industry have walked down.
Oh yeah.
I
Yep.
know I have, and I sometimes will watch and observe myself doing that. I'm like, there it is again. There it is. And what you and I were talking about Dr. Gabor Mate before we started.
We both love him.
One of the things I loved that he shared, because he was talking about addiction, and he said he was talking about how he loved to buy musical CDs. I think he liked like Bach
Ugh.
and it was a secret addiction that he would just buy them. And he goes into a lot more detail, but I remember hearing that and being so appreciative of his vulnerability that everyone knows who Gabor Mate is.
Yeah.
Most everyone probably listening to this. If you don't, look him up. He's
Look
fabulous.
him up. He's amazing.
But I love his human connection that he holds that this is real, this happens. A lot of it comes from trauma and relationships within what we experienced when we were children. Can we bring more compassion to the
Yes.
part of us that feels afraid, or the part of us that feels bullied, or the part of us that feels, um, I had a client word it so beautifully. She said, I feel incomplete, like there's holes in my story.
Mm.
And I said, and
Yeah,
how beautiful is that story that's a complete story in and of itself.
right.
And that there doesn't have to be, we don't have to fix a story. It's really bowing to the story.
I love that bowing to the story. It's so true. That's surrender.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
surrender.
And it's on one of the deepest levels that I think is the most challenging because we're hardwired to not surrender.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The ego is hardwired not to surrender. The ego is going to go out of its way to make sure
Yeah.
we don't. Because when we do surrender, that's where space for whatever you believe, the divine, Fred Flintstone, whatever, has space now to come through. So the ego will fight that all the time, for sure. And just to know that. And that's why it's like, well, who's running my show right now?
Yep.
Yeah. And if
And
it's
that's a
like,
good question.
yeah, telling you everything that's wrong with you. And it's like, oh my God, and I'm keen to it now with me. It doesn't mean I catch it all the time at all, but then I'm like, oh, there you are.
Exactly.
I'm on to you. I'm on.
Exactly.
Whereas before I'd be down the rabbit hole and like, that's a piece of shit. And I got like, I'm sorry, I'm breathing. And now I'm like,
Yeah.
really? Yeah, I just think, and like to your point about Gabor Mate, it's like it's so true. He's so authentic. He talks about his mess ups
Yeah.
as a parent. That's who I want to work with.
Yeah.
Someone who's like, "Hey, I've messed up, but I'm working on this." Somebody that has it all together, which we've talked about many times. I'm like little suspicious,
Right.
because who
Not true.
does?
No one.
Yeah,
No one.
yeah.
There was a thought that I had as you were talking of, and I would call it curiosity because many people have done healing modalities. And I think our brain is about surrender. I think our brain thinks we're finished at a certain point. And
Likes
then,
to think we are.
yes. And then another piece comes up. And often what I hear in my practice is, I already dealt with that.
I've tapped on that already.
I've already done that, which I lovingly smile because I get it and I've said that
Totally.
and that's such a red flag waving in the air saying, and here's another layer.
Exactly.
Please
Exactly.
slow down without because there seems to be shame attached to, well, there it is again.
Oh,
And
totally.
I think that's really normal and natural to have it be there again. It's in a different form because you're not the same you were a day ago. We're changing so
Yeah.
quickly. And to also know that you're not broken. I like to see that, Marty, as okay, here's another piece that I have worked on. And it's here again because I have a greater capacity to even go deeper.
Oh, it's so true. That's so spot on, Christy, because it is. It is about like going deeper, like at a deep, this thing I was dealing with up until like yesterday. It's like, oh, wow. Like I had it wasn't pleasant, wasn't comfortable, wasn't anything, but it was so insightful to me about bullying. That's like, wow. Like that's been such a theme throughout my life. And it's like that little kid in me is like, let's look at this again at a deeper
Yeah.
level. And it absolutely, Chrissy, those deeper levels where you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, I never saw it that way before.
Yeah. And the only way to get to those are continue to excavate. And I would say notice though when you have a trigger, because a trigger holds a lot of information
Yes.
that there's not something wrong with you, but to be curious about the trigger.
Yeah.
And in that curiosity, when we're triggered, that's really where the deepest work is done
Yeah.
versus being a bully to ourselves again. If I can't believe this is here and I already did that, I'm like, it's here again. And could we bring more compassion to that? Because even thinking about when you're a kid, and I'll just use my experience. I told you not to do that, right? And a kid does that again. We're like that as big people in our body.
Totally.
I told you
Totally.
not to eat that, or I told you not to buy that. I told you not to say that. and then that cycle continues. And as maybe we could do some tapping today, Marty, on just bringing some compassion to that cycle and also to this invitation that no one's broken.
Right, wounded. I like we all have wounds. It's
Everyone
so
does.
different than broken. It's no
Yeah,
different than a soldier in battle that gets wounded and then you can heal the wound, sometimes you can't, but you heal the wound but
yeah,
it's about repair. And
yes,
it always comes back to self-compassion. How
always.
can I gain more self-compassion? Because I mean, when I thought right before I found tapping, I'm in the shower and I'm like, that is a cesspool of negative thinking that's going on up here. It was horrific. And I'm like, that is so abusive. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God. And to become more aware of that. You're never going to always be aware of that. You might be like 5,000 feet down the rabbit hole, 100,000, and you're like, oh, wow, I was just being really hard on myself.
Yeah. And here we are again.
Yeah.
So those parts of ourselves that we tend to bully ourselves
Oh, yeah.
and perhaps feel shame about that we didn't manage better.
Yep.
So it's a management part.
Yeah.
Or we couldn't get ourselves out of a situation, a rescuing part. There's, I could go on for an hour on different parts.
Yeah.
What matters is what it is for you, not what other people think it is.
Yes.
And we will language it when we speak. There's a part of me that feels so hurt.
Yes.
Please listen to that part
Yeah.
and trust your intuition more and more that it shows up as it needs to be witnessed and heard.
Yeah.
And that creates emotional fitness in our nervous system
Oh,
that we're
absolutely.
not going to abandon that part. And we can't control when it comes out.
Oh, no.
It
Like
just
this.
comes out.
Yeah. Recently, I'm like, really? Today, on my birthday and my wedding
Yeah.
anniversary? This is when it's starting. Okay.
Yeah.
I was so mad. And then I'm like, okay.
Right. Here we go. So
Yeah.
let's do some tapping around that, Marty, and we'll do a little of some somatic breath after.
Yeah. I'm thinking about like the idea of, again, self-compassion and learning self-compassion and learning self-trust. So,
Hmm.
yeah. So karate chop, even though I learned to doubt myself and be so mean to myself, I learned to treat myself the way I was treated.
Mm.
I choose to acknowledge this truth right now. Even though I can be so mean to myself, when I pause long enough, if I pay attention, that bully in my brain can pound me to dust.
Mm.
Even though I can learn to catch that more, it's a practice. Catch that part of me that's mean to me, that doubts myself, and then abuses myself for doubting myself. I choose to honor this truth right now and go to the eyebrow. All this fear and worry, all this meanness, all this lack of self-compassion. I learned to treat myself the way I was treated. So if I look back on my childhood and I really pay attention to that, what if I could start to see it would be impossible to be super kind to myself, to be really emotionally fit, given what I experienced. And what if that's okay? And what if this can be part of my awakening to learn to have more self-compassion and just make it okay when I don't feel okay? What if that's a great place to start? Make it okay that I doubt myself. Make it okay that I catch myself being mean to myself. And the awareness is huge because that can set me on the path to conscious healing that doesn't take over my life, but helps me learn to regulate, be kind to the wounded part of me, reparent my inner child, and create more compassion and give to this part of me what it never got: self-care and self-love. Take a breath.
Mm. And I'm going to add that right on top of that. I would like everyone to put their hand on their heart and one on their belly and just close your eyes and notice if you've been yawning. I noticed my system started to relax and I was yawning. I'd like you to come into your heart space and bring something or someone to mind that you love and that you're grateful for, and to connect to that emotion and feeling of gratitude and love and what it feels like, connecting to the heart mind. And as you do this, especially after the tapping today, in your mind's eye to say, my dear heart, what is it I need today for my own healing? And it will appear as simply as a picture, a word, sometimes a sound, no matter how strange it might appear to your brain, but to let it come and take another nice deep breath. And as that one thing comes in, what comes in for me is a big tree, which means for me to go outside and connect with nature and to say, thank you, I receive that. I receive that. Thank you, body. Thank you, intelligence that surrounds me and that's in me. Thank you. We only have today, we only have this moment. And thank you, body. Thank you, intelligence. Thank you, mind, for all that is today. And we bow to that today, in this path of healing, this path of searching and seeking and receiving can all happen as we continue to put one foot in front of the other. On that exercise, the Heart Math Institute created the exercise. I want to give credit to that. And it's a great place as a resource to look for more exercises, practices expanding our hearts, trusting ourselves and not others to the degree that we're the one that is our guide first and foremost, not other people. We are. And
Yeah.
our connection to the intelligence that is around us. So thank you, my
That's
friend.
beautiful, Christy. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. Please share this podcast. So we would love to have more people come in and be able to use the resources. If you have any questions that you would like to send in, please do. and we'll address those on another podcast. Thank you,
Awesome.
Marty.
Thanks, Christy.